pretty much similar approach. They're missing Alex Gilby this afternoon, but it's Truman in goal, Sanders, Ekpieta and Offord, the three-man central defence, Collar, Kelly and Crowley in midfield, Mellish and Nemain, the two wide players, and further forward, captain for the day, Mendes Lang, along with Hepburn Murphy. Underway, it's a beautiful sunny afternoon. The clocks have gone back, so we'll finish the game in a couple of hours' time, slightly less, though it could go to extra time and penalties. It will be decided this afternoon. If that happens, it'll be in the dark, floodlights having their full effect, as the Hughes goalkeeper Matt Macy, in a luminous yellow shirt, shorts and socks, almost green actually, hits it forward. Mike Rembick gets his first touch of the afternoon, wide out on the left hand side, goes to ground, fairly tackled. The Hughes, as always at home, in blue and white striped shirts, blue shorts and blue socks. MK Dons, a changed grey strip shirts, shorts and socks, and we'll hear for the first time since the game got underway on BBC Essex from David Gregory.
Yeah, just a minute in, but it already looks like Colchester United look comfortable on the ball. We always thought that, but they're in confident mood. That we've had a good recent run of results, so you expected that. Colchester United probably already can say they've probably had more of the ball.
Ekpieta's going to try to look after Mike Rembick as MK Dons threaten left hand side of the Colchester penalty area. Mendes Lang lays it off, shooting chance, good chance. Will Collar, well blocked, first opportunity, it was on target, but a defender protected Matt Macy's goal. Confident start for MK Dons, taking the game to Colchester United in the opening stages on BBC Essex. On 95.3 FM, it's Wealdstone versus Southend United with Ben Fryer and Glenn Pennyfather. That too in the FA Cup first round. And then tomorrow afternoon, yet another game on all frequencies, DAB Digital and BBC Sounds, Malden and Tiptree into the first round of the FA Cup, and they take on the Valiants. That's Port Vale from League One. That's a tough tie. But have you seen the Malden and Tiptree lineup? It's a very good side. As Reid passes it back to Arujo, the Fulham loanee, combines with Tucker out to the near side to Kane Vincent Young. One or two changes on BBC Essex, both David enforced. Yeah. Rob Hunt is on the bench. Yeah,
Rob Hunt's on the bench. He didn't train all week, but he's trained the back end of this week, so I think Danny Nicky decided that Kane, having been in the side and then trained all week, was the answer. I think Jack Payne just picked up a slight injury in training during the week, so he wasn't risked, and of course it was bad enough to keep him off the bench as well.
Cheltenham from League 2 lead against Bradford by 1-0. Burton Albion score early against non-league St Albans. Just looking down the screen, Oldham's one up against Northampton, plenty of goals elsewhere, and National League Halifax trail at home to Exeter in the Championship. Ipswich one up. He's Carice Lisby down the right hand side, pings in a cross, strikes a defender, comes back to Lisby. Lisby sets up Vincent Young to overhit the cross. That wasn't the idea, obviously, but Ellis Ayandolo works hard to keep the ball in play. His reverse pass sells Teddy Bishop short, and MK Dons will clear into the Hughes half of the pitch. Excellent close control by Harvey Arujo. Arujo to Reid to Tucker. Hurst with the goal for Ipswich Town in the Championship. Can Jaden Williams get there first? He can, but the door quickly shut by Marvin Ekpieta. Ekpieta's quite a lot of connections with Essex clubs, including Chelmsford City, along with Concord and East Thurrock United, and the headlines on BBC Essex already been made by Chelmsford City, beating Braintree by 3-1. Mbic's onside. Can he keep the ball in play? He can, but as soon as he does so, up goes the referee's assistance flag, and it will be a free kick for offside for MK Dons. Abby Byrne is the referee for this FA Cup fixture. The other thing I meant to say, tomorrow afternoon it's Matt Barker and April Smith providing the commentary and the co-commentary on that FA Cup tie. The FA Cup spread all the way across the weekend, from Friday evening all the way to Monday night, the weekend and beyond, as Oldham from League Two double their lead against Northampton Town. Tucker leaps the highest. Jaden Williams, who's a difficult header for him to deal with, and he's headed it out to the left-hand side, where it's collected by Hepburn Murphy into the used penalty area. Wants the corner, gets the corner. Goalless early stages in the FA Cup.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't too much argument from Kane Vincent Young there, who was the player that the referee deemed it to have come off. So we'll go that the referee gets that one spot on, and he gives the visitors a corner in front of their own fans.
Yeah, and 26 minutes gone. There's not much evidence to go on, but anything MK Dons have made slightly the better start, and they have a corner kick right-footed into the used penalty area. It's headed downwards and over the bar, though I don't think Matt Macy was unduly troubled by it.
No, he wasn't. I think you're right. They've had probably the best incursions into Colchester United's penalty area. I think generally Colchester probably had more of the possession, but certainly a shot blocked, and then that header bouncing off the ground and then safely over the crossbar.
Rotherham 1, Swindon 0. That's League 1 versus League 2. I think Paul Warren used to manage Rotherham. Is that a free kick for a foul on Micah Mbick? Referee says it isn't, and then Mbick wins it back temporarily for Colchester United. Side-footed towards the halfway line. Jaden Williams, reverse ball. Quick feet from Bishop to find Reid. Reid back to Rougeau, 10 yards short of the halfway line. He pings it over to the near side to Carice Lisby, 5 yards short of the halfway line. The U's playing unusually from left to right in the first half as they cross the halfway line, far side of the pitch, through Ellis Iandolo, back to Teddy Bishop, spreads the play out to the near side to Kane Vincent Young. Mansfield 1, Harrogate Town 0. Back to Araujo, central position, out to the left hand side to Iandolo, and MK Dons just drop off and ask Colchester United, can you break us down? They know all about the pace, the intricacy, the threat that Colchester United pose. Maybe now with Lisby making a run through the middle, headed away by a defender, collected by Vincent Young. Vincent Young forced backwards to Jack Tucker. Tucker involving Matt Macy in the home goal, and I wouldn't be surprised, David, if it was a little bit cagey, because both these teams come into this game with good reputations in League Two.
Absolutely, you've got to respect your opposition, so you've got to make sure that you're doing the right thing defensively, which I think at the moment MK Dons are. They're giving Colchester a lot of respect. We're getting on the ball more than MK Dons are, I think, and but we've just not been able to get past the defence at the moment. It seems to be the main on the right is pushing up a little bit further than Mellish on the left, but I think they maybe feel that the threat in behind of Carice Lisby is probably more than it would be that threat on the left hand side in behind of Harry Anderson.
Araujo lifts the ball forward, gets too much on it. Micah Mbick's never going to get on the end of that. 2 goals for Lyle Taylor, David, for Chelmsford City against Braintree Town, into double figures in the National League as Kane Vincent Young gets back at full stretch. Not that we should be surprised about the goal scoring prowess as Harry Anderson chases after it down the left hand side. It was a lovely ball and Anderson almost got there. High into the used half of the pitch. Tucker attacks the ball. Liam Kelly helps it out to the far side of the pitch to Jack Sanders. Couple of points you may wish to refer to on the pitch, and Lyle Taylor brace for Chelmsford City.
Yeah, I think the game's continuing in the manner of the first couple of minutes. I think MK Dons want to get it forward to Mendes Lang and Hepburn Murphy quite quickly, quicker than I thought they would. I think they were a team that always suggested to me that they'd want to play the ball around and be patient and keep it and try and bore opposition into making the wrong decisions and coming for the ball. So they've been a bit more direct than I thought. Not direct, but they've got it forward a bit quicker and got that chance that had to be blocked.
He's Vincent Young back to Tucker, who now invites Carice Lisby to chase after it down the right hand side. Defender throws himself at the ball, failed to make contact, didn't have to, just had to make sure that Carice Lisby doesn't. I was asked about Lyle Taylor at Colchester United missing him, and I went, hard to argue that. They've been that explosive going forward, and they've got so many options on the bench attacking wise this afternoon, as you can see with Samson Tavide. I'm just trying to think if there's anyone else, but he was such a wonderful presence around the place, wasn't he? That was the bottom line.
Yeah, and he was a decent player, so he's dropped down a couple of divisions. So if anyone thought he wasn't going to go there and score goals, I think you're probably a little bit misguided at best, because he's still got that bout. Obviously, he had the injury that he's now got over, and he's banging in the goals. It was a great result for Chelmsford this afternoon. Unfortunately, it came at the expense of another Essex club.
We're all Braintree Town, who will now be left to concentrate on the big job of ensuring that there's National League football at Cressing Road once again next season. He's Carice Lisby in an offside position. Goal in the Premier League. Fulham 1, Wolves 0. Surprise scoreline. Boreham Wood 1, Crawley 0. Cambridge United 1, Chester 0. Love the U's to get into the second round of the FA Cup. They'll have to get past MK Dons first, and then maybe how about a visit to Boreham Wood, David? You guys have no idea what David and I are talking about. They're a very good side, Boreham Wood, but there are other ways in which life wouldn't be the easiest just going to work there, which is an odd thing to say. Boreham Wood leading Crawley, very good side, because they had that terrific run in the FA Cup. I think knocked out Bournemouth at one stage. Fulham leading in the Premier League. No goals here. No goals in our South End fixture at Wealdstone. Ben Fryer and Glenn Pennyfather watching that for BBC Essex. Foul on Kane Vincent Young, who gets up, takes a free kick quickly. Harry Anderson makes a run from the left hand side through the middle, doesn't reach him. Teddy Bishop, was he pushed off the ball? No, he wasn't. And it's a good battling play by Mellish to win it back. Feeds his captain for the day, Nathaniel Mendez-Lang, out to the right hand side. Go MK Dons in the form of Dan Crowley, the former Notts County player, and now chasing after it. Down the left is Micah Mbig. He's quick, but not quite that quick. And the goalkeeper, MK Dons happy to play the ball in the final third. That's been to the undoing of some of the teams that have come up against Colchester United this season. Goalless in the FA Cup, and MK Dons work it well into Hepburn Murphy inside the penalty area. Block came in by Kane Vincent Young, who tracked his man excellently.
No, he did more than that. He tracked across.
That's the point I want to make. Yeah.
He made a split-second decision that was the most dangerous player. I've got to go there. I think he would have been undone a little bit if that player gets his head up, takes a touch, and then just rolls it out to the left, because then I'm not sure if it was Mellish. Coming in, with no one between him and Matt Macy.
And that's what I was trying to say, as the ball's crossed into the used penalty area and headed away by Arujo. When I say he tracked his man, he actually tracked the man he's not there to mark, and that's a big decision for a fullback, to come back inside, to leave a gap in the right back position. But wow, he managed to block Hepburn Murphy, who otherwise might have had a one-on-one with the Colchester United keeper. And that's what, David said that the U's have made a fairly bright start. I just feel that MK Dons have brought a little bit more of the threat in this game. Fleetwood 1, Barnet 0. That's in the FA Cup. And in the Premier League, Brighton 1, Leeds United 0. But be warned, Danny Welbeck's got the goal. When I get the scores from the Premier League, they don't always tell me if the goal is annulled by a VAR decision.
And am I right in saying that Danny Welbeck's about a year older than his manager?
It's extraordinary, isn't it? Just keeps on scoring. Should have stayed at Manchester United. MK Dons in possession, 20 yards outside the Colchester United penalty area. Carried a little bit more of the threat in this game. But not that time, because the ball was overhit, and Aaron Nemain, the former Notts County player, won't get on the end of it. Even game, but a little bit more threat from MK Dons. Yeah,
in and around the penalty area, they've got into Colchester a little bit more than we have at the other end. I mean, I think Truman in their goal will probably feel relatively comfortable, and even in the last couple of minutes, MK Dons, their possession has been a bit more as well, so they'll feel that after not chasing after Colchester United players, but after kind of Colchester having the better of the ball, that they'll feel that they're really tuned into the game now.
Home supporters disappointed that Carice Lisby was not adjudged to have been fouled. Slightly smaller crowd, I'm anticipating this afternoon. It often happens with FA Cup games, certainly in the early rounds. I think, David, it's not about the lack of attraction of the FA Cup, but when you buy your season ticket, it gives you 23 league games, but it doesn't give you a ticket for the FA Cup.
No, so you want those people to come to the cup games as well, and I'm sure when we get to the third round, they will.
Well, did you say when they get to the third round? Love it. What about Chelmsford City away in the second round?
That'll be a tough one. I'd rather them at home if we can get to the second round.
Because Chelmsford City are through in the lunchtime kickoff. Jack Tucker, I thought, was asking a lot of Ellis Iandolo. I underestimated both of them. Ellis Iandolo inside to Bishop was a little bit tight in the final third in the use half of the pitch, but as a consequence, Iandolo breaks out, passes to Jaden Williams, who hits it slightly behind Kane Vincent Young. Boreham would double their lead against Crawley. Maybe we will be on our way to Boreham Wood, or one of these two teams, or maybe Southend will go there. Newport 0, Gillingham 1, Macclesfield 2, AFC Totton 1. Arujo certainly asks too much. Cagey start, quiet start, I'd say. 16 minutes gone, now the keeper tested, though that was some. Who got the block?
I think there was 2 or 3 players making sure that the shot didn't get through to Matt Macy's, which I don't mind that at all. And at the other end, I think Carice Lisby got into a good position down that right hand side, but his cross was blocked fairly early on.
Arsenal 1-0 up against Burnley in the Premier League, as MK Dons, far side of the pitch, sun already beginning to set. Just the sun shining through the gap between the south stand and the west stand in the MK Dons half of the pitch. And it's Sanders, apex of the penalty area, back to Conal Truman, who wouldn't be playing today but for McGilvray's concussion injury. This is not good news for the Blues. They are down to 10 men against fellow National League side Wealdstone in the FA Cup, and his former youth player Ben Goodliffe, who has been sent off at a long period of the game. To be down to 10 men especially is that even if Southend hold on to a draw in 90 minutes, you get another 30 minutes of extra time on top, and then penalties. And Goodliffe is a big part of the Blues setup, both defensively and set pieces going further forward. Both teams here, full complement of players. And the drum beats as the sun sets. MK Dons passing the ball along on that lush green surface out there. Kane Vincent Young turns. He knows he's going out of play. He throws himself to the ground. He ain't going to get a free kick for that. Mellish might have taken the throw-in quickly, because Vincent Young was temporarily on the ground.
He was, but both Mendes Lang and Hepburn Murphy kind of walked away from him and weren't facing the ball, so he had to hold off. And now, he's wiped on his shirt a couple of times, so I'm going to say I think that's 2 out of the 3. No, all 3 centre halves have gone up into the area as well.
Goodliffe was sent off for a professional foul. He was the last man. Headed away by Anderson, second throw in quick succession for MK Dons attacking, and they are attacking the goal to our left. And it's a nice bit of football from Mendes Lang. Back to Crowley. They're a good footballing side. He's Liam Kelly, floats into the youth penalty area. Macy elects not to come. They win the header, the first header through John Mellish. It's put back into the 6-yard box. Macy, I was going to say flapped at it, but I think he might have been fouled.
Yeah, I think we're a bit fortunate on that one, because he come through, and I think it's tough for us to tell from here that maybe the referee she would have got a better view of it than us, but it looked like Macy's trying to come through Colchester United players and MK Dons players. So it was one that the referee sees that it's an MK Dons player and gives a free kick.
Blackpool 1, Scunthorpe 0, quite the game. Macclesfield 2, AFC Totton 2. And that's a local derby. And Wealdstone not only have a man advantage, but they now lead against Southend United. And you can't help wondering whether the sending off of Ben Goodliffe will be pivotal in that game. 0-0 here between Colchester United and MK Dons. Braintree already out. We're on the other side of the coin. Chelmsford City through in the Essex derby, the lunchtime kickoff. 2 goals from Lyle Taylor, and Chelmsford City have won, have beaten their near rivals by 4 goals to 1. Wealdstone 1-0 up against Southend United on 95.3 FM. As it's thrown down the line by an MK Dons defender. Arthur Reed lifts it in the air. Anderson competes for it. Falls nicely for Reed. Gets it under control. Lisby chases after it. Defender hits it away. Follow-up header by Reed. And the U's do get a free kick. About 20-30 yards out, right of centre. Yeah,
I mean, it always looked like Williams would be able to control it on his chest, and Crowley just bumps into the back of him as the ball comes off his chest. On that occasion, the referee's only about 10 yards away. An easy one for that decision to be made, and just puts the spray down for 10 yards. Arthur Reed's on the ball. Teddy Bishop just walking over to see what's about. I mean, Ellis Ianlow's standing in a position that looks that there might be something going on with him as well. He looks ready for it to come across for him if need be.
So will Reed go for goal? Will he float into the penalty area? Will he set up a shooting chance for Ellis Iandolo? He floats into the penalty area. Tucker's the target. He's free inside the box. And Bick was the target. Poor effort, follow-up effort from Teddy Bishop. It's still coming down and hits the roof of the stand behind the goal to our right. This is a surprise in the FA Cup. League 1 Wimbledon 0, Gateshead 1. Southend 1-0 down. Olamola with the goal for Wealdstone, and the Blues have had Ben Goodliffe sent off. Goal kick for, he has scored for Colchester United, Teddy Bishop, just once, and I think it was a cracker of a goal last season against Walsall. That was not quite top draw.
No, it wasn't, and he probably knows that. He didn't quite get it. You can see what he was trying to do, but I think that the fact that players were closing him down probably meant he had to play it a little bit earlier than he wanted to. And then it's coming off the outside of his boot. There's just a high boot there, just catches Arthur Reed on the instep.
Hurt him. And the U's decided to take the free kick quickly, with poor old Arthur Reed limping to join the action. Not that it caught MK Dons unaware. QPR equalise against Ipswich Town in the Championship. 1-1 there. 0-0 here. The U's goalkeeper, Matt Macy, to Jack Tucker. Tucker to Kane Vincent Young. Smart ball inside. Jaden Williams dropping deep to impact upon the game. Finds Reed, who's moving somewhat gingerly. Ellis Iandolo, far side of the pitch. Back to Arthur Reed. His first touch might have got him into trouble, but he's quick and bright and finds Vincent Young. Sliding challenge comes in. Ball straight to Teddy Bishop under massive pressure. Out to Kane Vincent Young, and it comes off Hepburn Murphy last, and it'll be a throw-in. Top out Shocks. Here's another one. Barnsley of League 1 0. York City of the National League 1. There'll be shocks up and down the country this afternoon, but not here, because it's 2 League 2, highly rated I'd say as well, League 2 sides, Colchester United versus MK Dons. Whoever wins this one, when it comes to the FA Cup roundup nationally, will be near the bottom of the headline, to no headline at all. But that's what happens sometimes in the FA Cup. You get zero national publicity until you make it to the 3rd or the 4th or even the 5th round. Iandolo into the MK Dons penalty area. Then everyone wants to know you, David.
Yeah, of course they do, and that's the thing. You just got to get through this game and know that they'll go under the radar, because if some of those shocks continue to the end of the game, they'll make all the headlines.
As wriggling with the ball inside the MK Dons penalty was Carice Lisby. Iandolo with a cross overhead of Anderson. Kane Vincent Young sets up Arthur Reed. He shoots and Anderson stuck out his left foot. I think he's onside. He stuck out his left foot, but the ball just trickled away from him before he could turn and shoot goalwards.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where he knows it's a shot coming in from Arthur Reed, so he's kind of thinking, well, do I stop the shot if it's going towards a corner, or do I try and control it and score myself? Well, he's tried to control it, but the pace on it was just enough to take it away from him and into the keeper. But as the last couple of minutes, Colchester United have moved the ball up round well, going from side to side until they've got a player free.
Anderson to Mbic. Mbic's onside. He sees the goalkeeper off his line, and that's a consummate, wonderful finish. Is there anything this young man, Micah Mbic, can't do? Lovely pass down the right hand side. Mbic got away, but he must have been 35, 40 yards out. Connell Truman was off his line. Mbic saw that, and the U's lead in the FA Cup first round against MK Dons, and it was a sublime finish from the Charlton loanee. Colchester United 1, MK Dons 0.
Yeah, if you're talking about awareness of what's around you and what the players around you and where the goal is, Mbic has got that. I mean, he watches it, the ball comes through, it comes to his right hand side, he has one look up and the keeper's already thinking, I can't get there, I've got to backtrack. Mbic knows that he's not backtracking in time, so he's just got to make sure it's over the keeper and on target. He is clinical and ruthless in his finishing there, and like I say, but the awareness comes first and then the skill to actually execute what you know in your head you're going to do and try and do. Fantastic. And like you say, at the moment, what can't this boy do at the moment? He's kind of looking, and you're thinking that you're looking at ways in which he can improve and get better. All the little things, of course, he will do as he gets older, but they were fantastic young talent, and certainly did well to get him right at the end of the deadline.
How far out that is that? Because it's from an angle, David. It's not that far from the touchline.
No, I'm gonna put it at 35, 38 yards.
Wow. And here's Mbic now into the penalty, set up by Williams. Well, I say set up with Williams trying to set up. Carice Lisby might have gone for goal from an acute angle, and these are good moments for Colchester United, and a little bit worrying for MK Dons because they have conceded one of those goals. We talk about headlines in the FA Cup first round. Well, that goal from Micah Mbic will be right up there as one of the goals of the round, because you won't see much better than that this season from Mbic.
No, you're right, and we were talking about the game itself maybe not getting headlines, but when it comes to people showing the best goals, that'll be certainly up there. I mean, I wasn't 100% sure. I wasn't 100% sure if Harry Anderson had come across the pitch and it was his ball down that line that put him in, because it certainly comes from the right back position, but I've got a feeling that Harry Anderson was over this side.
Salford 0, Lincoln City 1. That's League 2 against League 1, and Macclesfield 2, AFC Totton 3. But the headlines, as has often been the case this season, Mbic, what a sublime finish. And you know what? I don't think it was ever in doubt. He saw the goalkeeper off his line. It was we had a great angle on it, but it's not as if it hit the underside of the bar or anything like that.
As soon as it came off his foot, we kind of knew where it was going.
One of the goals of the round, and you heard it live on BBC Essex. The Blues have End United trail on 95.3 FM. Chelmsford City have knocked out Essex rivals Braintree Town, but Colchester United are 1-0 up against MK Dons. Mbic with the goal again from the corner. Tucker is the target. He got away from a free kick that MK Dons didn't pick him up on, but they did a better job this time. Teddy Bishop trying to find Mbic. Mbic backpedaling, wants to win the ball back and keep the U's momentum going forward, but Mbic fouled Will Collar, and it'll be a free kick to MK Dons, who now trail Colchester United by 1-0. And yes, the goal was as good as all of that. Free kick for MK Dons. Picks out Mellish. Mellish gets a good touch, square ball inside, not cleared by Bishop. Mendes-Lang shoots, takes the deflection, could have gone anywhere. Goal kick. It hit a fellow MK Dons player.
Yeah, I think it's one of the centre halves that are up for the corner. I think it might have been offered that. Yeah, he's just making his way back now. I think it's just hit him and gone straight out because it looked like a venomous shot.
Such a good strike by Mendes-Lang, who's spent most of his career in the Championship with Cardiff City, Sheffield Wednesday and Derby County, a regular international with Guatemala, who's captain of the side in the absence of former Hughes player Alex Gilby. There was a quiz question last night on the BBC Essex phone-in with Glenn Pennyfather. Quiz questions for Blues fans, Braintree, Chelmsford City and Colchester United fans. And one of the questions for the Colchester United fans was, how many goals has Alex Gilby scored for the U's? Well, he said 30. I thought 15. Less than that. And yet he seemed to score more. And that's because when Gilby was at Colchester United, nearly all the goals were almost as special, or quite as special, as the goal from Micah Mbick this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. I think was it last week or the week before he scored twice in one of MK Don's game as well.
So got 6 this season.
He's still doing it.
9, I think, was the total in his time for Colchester United. Harry Anderson makes a run, chests it down, gets away from his man. He's got Jaden Williams inside the penalty area, carries on for run, fires in a shot, blocked off by Marvin Ekpieter for MK Dons, who are in this contest, who pose a threat of their own. But stunned by the quality of that strike, he's Ayandolo for Colchester United, 10 yards or so from the corner flag. Back to Bishop. Ayandolo feeds Reid. Arthur Reid attempts to squirrel away from his marker. Lovely round of applause for the home supporters. They appreciate the work. And he finds Tucker to Mbick, slid through onside Jaden Williams, chance to look up and pick out Mbick. Mbick goes to ground inside the penalty area. Danny Cowley thought it was a penalty. Colchester United fans thought it was a penalty. Micah Mbick probably thought he was fouled. And what I'd say, didn't think there was enough contact to justify him going down from 40 yards away.
Yeah, and for me it looked like he just initiated the contact on the centre. Yeah. You know, like they were coming. There was a coming together. He made sure he got to the ball first, which is fine. He did get to the ball first. And a lot of times, if that contact comes and there wasn't any contact on the ball, you know, you do look at it and think, should it have been a penalty? The referee feels probably a combination of me thinking that Mbick initiated it and you thinking there wasn't enough contact to give the penalty. She looked like she was in a good position to see it. So
Barnsley have equalised against National League York City 1-1. Newport have also got a leveller against Gillingham, 2 League 2 sides, just like we've got here. Reading 1 up against former Football League club Carlisle United, and in the Premier League, Palace lead by a 1-0 against Brentford. That's the first big decision that Abby Byrne has had to make this afternoon. It wasn't a popular decision. Danny Cowley was convinced it was a penalty. Mike Mbick was still talking after the event that it should have been a spot kick. As Harry Anderson almost wins it back, sticks out the right foot as he's endeavouring to win the ball, catches his man, and the ref has a word with him. He's entitled to go for the ball, but I guess it was foot raised. Yeah, Mateta scoring for Palace.
It's one of those frustrated ones. Harry's going for the ball, he's got his foot up, but it's the follow through from the defender. The defender is volleying the ball clear. As soon as you touch the ball, your foot doesn't stop, it follows through, and he follows through onto Harry Anderson's foot. It's one that's, you know, given 9 times out of 10, but I think it's a frustrating one because it isn't, you know, there's no intent at all from Harry for fouling him. So and it's actually the defender's follow through that initiates contact, which is what we were talking about. Mbick's the challenge on Mbick.
Reid fails to cut it out, and consequently chance for Mendes-Lang to pick out Mellish into the use penalty area. Great block by Tucker. Mellish again feeds Kelly, square ball by Kelly to Mendes-Lang, shot from distance is on for Dan Crowley, elects not to do so, goes backwards. And he's Kelly on the left-hand side. MK Dons trailing Colchester United 1-0 on BBC Essex. And BBC Sounds, you can listen to it on your speaker at home, connected to the internet. Mellish for MK Dons, passes it back to Kelly. Kelly, smart ball. That Reed gets something on it. It comes off Reed last, but kept in play. David, Cambridge double their lead. But someone said to me, what's the best bet in the FA Cup first round today for a shot? And I said, you'll get long odds on it. Grimsby at home to Ebbsfleet. And you'd think, wow, Grimsby, top League 2 side against Ebbsfleet, National League South. Just look at the week that Grimsby have had in the Carabao Cup. Fantastic cup progress in that competition, brought abruptly to an end in a 5-0 defeat from by Brentford. And I thought there might be a little bit of a hangover there. Game far from finished. This game's far from finished either, as the ball's played into the used penalty area. Picks out Mellish at the far post, just outside the box. I should clarify. Mellish plays it inside, now lifted it into the box, headed away by Iandolo. The U's are 1-0 up, and Manchester United continue their recent good run. Casemiro puts them in front against Nottingham Forest. But I say, every time I mention a score in the Premier League, put your phone on you, whatever the device you've got, do check. Cambridge 2, Chester 0, Grimsby 0, Ebbsfleet 1. It is asking a lot for a club like Grimsby to have a big cup run in the Carabao Cup and then double it up in the FA Cup and then challenge, as they are doing, at the top end in League 2.
I'd probably disagree to an extent. I'd have thought, I think they're at home against Ebbsfleet.
They are still favourites.
Still favourites. And I think that Carabao Cup run is been and gone now. Bolton
to use penalty, and Macy doesn't quite get there, and it rolls into the back of the net. And MK Dons are back on level terms. Hepburn Murphy escaped the offside trap. His shot, Macy got something on it from an acute angle, and then the ball agonisingly bounced towards the goal and over the line, and rather surprisingly, MK Dons back on level terms. Colchester United 1, MK Dons 1.
Yeah, and it was one ball, a long ball forward. The Colchester defence were pretty sure that Hepburn Murphy was offside when he went to collect the ball. So he's got him free down that right hand side because they've let him go there and thought he was offside. Like I say, the shot seemed to be straight at Matt Macy, but I think it's just deflected behind him off his thigh, the inside of his thigh, and almost dribbled over the line, didn't it? And back in there. Probably not the way MK Dons would have thought they might have got an equaliser, but they'll take it without a doubt, and it means things are all back level there. And I think it's one of those ones, if you're not 100% sure that he's offside, I think you have to stay with him a bit longer than it looked like we did stay with him.
Yeah, contrasting goals. The U's goal will figure long in the memory. That one won't, but they both count the same. It's Colchester United 1, MK Dons 1, and an effort fizzing in from Liam Kelly from just outside the penalty area, straight at Matt Macy, who was beaten from an acute angle. Might he have done better as Arsenal double their lead against Burnley, David?
I mean, I'd have to see it again, but it just looked like one of those ones where he's tried to spread himself out. The players try to get it past him, and he'll say, well, I did get it past him, but I think it takes a big deflection off Matt Macy as it goes through him, and unfortunately goes into the back of the net. But he'll feel from that angle he should have done better, but I think it's a tough one on him when he gets enough on the shot to slow it down that much.
On BBC Essex 103.5 FM, Freeview 716 and BBC Sounds, Colchester United 1, MK Dons 1. Southend United trail, and they're down to 10 men, trail 1-0 against Wealdstone. And Chelmsford City have already dispatched fellow Essex club Braintree Town by 4-1, and here's MK Dons having got the equaliser. Hepburn Murphy threatens again, might have shot, elected to pass to Mendes Lang and got it all wrong. And if when the U's scored it was worrying moments for MK Dons, the boot just now is on the other foot.
Yeah, it was, and they were breaking 2v2, and in the end, I think he got caught in two minds, because in the end, it didn't look like it was a very good pass. If he was passing it, it didn't look a good pass.
Nicely worked by Jaden Williams to Keynes Lisby, and he is fouled. Not sure it was Mellish who got the last touch. We will find out though, because Abby Byrne, the referee, will show the first yellow card of the afternoon, and it's the former Carlisle left-sided player, the number 2 Mellish, who goes into the referee's book. Colchester United 1, Colchester United 1, MK Dons 1. Prize money, £47,750, not to be sniffed at, for the winner. And this game will be decided, this tie will be decided this afternoon, as a long ball by Reid into the penalty area. Tucker was the target, kept it in play, did not. It'll be a goal kick to MK Dons. Decision made by the referee's assistant to our right. And a shame that the U's weren't able to hold on to the lead. I just hadn't thought that MK Dons had threatened really to score when they did.
No, I think they had the two chances early on. They got into the penalty area and looked half dangerous on. But yeah, I think whilst Colchester United stopped that for a little while, MK Dons stopped Colchester having as much possession, and they looked like they were on the ball a bit more. And then all of a sudden, Colchester came again. In the few minutes before they scored. And wonderful goal from Mbic then sets them up, and had a few minutes after that where we seemed to be on top, and then out of nothing MK Dons get their equaliser, and now they'll feel confident in going at Colchester for the remaining 4 minutes of the half.
Spennymoor Town 0, Barrow 1. It was Spennymoor who ended the run of one of our Essex sides in the 4th qualifying round, I recall. Sutton United 1, Telford 0, Slough 2, Altrincham 0. He's Keynes Lisby. He's very quick again. The goalkeeper backs himself, comes off the line, gets there first, hits it up to Nathan Lang. Mendes Lang. Wow, he's brave. Is Connell Truman, and that time, good decision.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? And he saw it early. That was a good thing. He saw the ball going there early and made that decision and stuck by it. Whereas I think he was coming for Mbic and then started to back off, and that just made the decision for Micah to go over him for the goal. But I think it was a great run from Lisby and a good ball in the end. So just unfortunate.
Billericay was the team who were knocked out by Gateshead. He's Mendes Lang, left hand side of the used penalty area. Hammers it, puts in a cross, headed away by Tucker, winning a lot of the headers. They're not the biggest of sides, Colchester United. I don't think MK Dons are all that big either. As ball's allowed to bounce inside the used penalty area, cleared away by Ellis Iandolo, and Anderson again invites, but it's an invitation that Keynes Lisby's not going to be able to reply to because he can't get on the end of it. MK Dons having equalised, they're having their best spell of the game. 1-1 on BBC Essex. I think when the draw came out of the hat, everyone associated with both clubs knew this was going to be a difficult tie. Pundits will struggle to call the winner in this contest, and that's how it's proving. 2 minutes to go to half time. Colchester United 1, MK Dons 1. Lifted into the used penalty area. Mellish with the cross, interception from Arujo. Otherwise Hepburn Murphy might have had a chance to get his second of the afternoon. Williams runs into trouble. Home supporters now like the referee's decision. 10 yards, 15 yards short of the halfway line. Central position. I wasn't all that convinced. Harry Anderson out to Ellis Iandolo. Inside to Teddy Bishop. Arujo along the deck to Micah Mbic, who scored a fabulous goal to put the U's in front. Almost finds Keynes Lisby. Headed back inside by Anderson. Instantly off by Bishop. So instant, sadly, that nice idea that Ellis Iandolo couldn't quite get on the end of it. And we've got 1 minute before we're into stoppage time. There ain't been many stoppages except for the 2 goals. One from Mbic and then the second from Hepburn Murphy on the inside right position. Evades the U's offside trap. I wasn't was doubts about it, but we'll have to wait for the replay. But referees' assistants invariably get those kind of decisions right. Big decision, cancelling out Mbic's goal. Even then, Matt Macy beaten at his near post. He'll be a tad disappointed by that. And MK Dons look to rub salt into the wounds. Threaten again through the goal scorer, the man who got the equaliser. Hepburn Murphy plays a 1-2 with Liam Kelly. Then Liam Kelly gets it back again, squares it out to the right hand side, fizzed in by Sanders, strikes a used play, blooms high into the air, and when it comes down it'll be a comfortable catch. And we're in stoppage time of this first half. The game locked level, but it will be decided this afternoon. 1 minute only of stoppage time, and MK Dons will finish with the ball at their feet. Liam Kelly's long ball forward, Mendes Lang's the target, headed away by Iandolo, laid off by Anderson. Bishop does really well to stay on his feet long enough to find Iandolo. Early ball forward to Williams. Williams wants it back and he gets pulled back, and that'll be a yellow card.
You'd think so, yeah, and it's coming out now. I think he's stopping Jaden Williams from getting forward the other side of him. The defender actually did really well to get in front of him first, win the ball, and then Teddy Bishop was so alert to where Jaden Williams was. Then he was able to play it in behind the pair of them. Williams was wrong side, and the referee picks the yellow card up. Whether Colchester United have time to take the free
they'll
kick.
have time.
But
I think they'll have time, David, definitely, because the free kick was given after 45 minutes and 30 seconds. But they'll have time, but I would advise them to put the ball in the box. Crewe 1, Doncaster 0. Crewe scoring through Demetriou just before half time. Can they use into stoppage time, restore their lead? I think Reid, he's not taking my advice, but he is going to put it into the MK Dons penalty area. Anderson's the target at the far post, and it's out for a corner kick, and the referee rightly will blow the whistle. Again, not a popular decision with the home supporters, but there was only time to take the free kick, not the corner that resulted thereafter, though not all the youth players agree with that decision, although maybe they're questioning about whether it might be a handball from the original header.
Yeah, when Harry Anderson gets on that far post and heads it back into the danger area, they're feeling that the MK Dons player jumped and made himself bigger with his arms out. I mean, he'll say, I didn't, it was a natural position on my arm. That's when the ambiguity, can't even say it, Neil. That comes into it, because it's all then down to whether the referee decides they made their body bigger or it was a natural movement of the arm as he's jumping.
Thanks very much, David Gregory. Tom Larson Wright coming up with all your half-time scorelines and reflections on that, and what turned out to be an emphatic win for Chelmsford City against Braintree. Referee not the most popular at the moment. Don't think she got anything big wrong in the first half, but the youth fans, Danny Cowley, I don't think agree with that. And there was a question as to whether Hepburn Murphy was onside in the first half when he scored the equaliser at the far post. But wait till you see that wonderful goal by Micah Mbic that initially put the U's ahead. 1-1 here, but they ain't finished for the first half. Wealdstone versus Southend United. The Blues are down to 10 men and they trail. Closing stages of that first half on BBC Essex from Glenn Pennyfather and Ben Fryer.
Hassan comes forward, weaves one way, then the next way. Georgie was there in support for Wealdstone as they try and double the advantage before half time. Low ball into the box, which the Blues clear comfortably, but again, that is not going to go to any Southend play. You join us on all frequencies. It is Wealdstone 1, Southend 0. Ben Goodliff, Colchester fans who've joined us, sent off after 17 minutes for denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity. Couple of minutes after that, as a result of the free kick, actually indirectly, after Southend cleared it, Olamola put Wealdstone in front, but Southend have battened down the hatches. They've stayed firm at the back, and through the odd set piece are giving Wealdstone something to think about. So it might not be all she wrote just yet. Badavine in possession for Wealdstone now, knocks it across to Woodman, and McAvoy now sweeping ball away, which Southend can deal with. Drops down to Kadji for Wealdstone. Kadji plays it out to Sakasan on the left hand side. A couple of bodies on the ground here. It's pretty scrappy stuff, but Southend pick up the ball now, and now can they break through Bridge down the right hand side. Challenge comes in, and that should be a yellow card for Wealdstone, really. Surely it will be, and Southend will have another opportunity to get a free kick in.
Yeah, it was good work as well down that right hand side. They worked the ball well in the end after dispossessing the Wealdstone player on the halfway line. They drove down the right hand side. It was the timing of the pass as well, in from Jack Bridge into the run of Dallas, that caused the free kick, really, because the lad, I think it was McAvoy, wasn't it, has got booked, was always stretching for the challenge. Andy Dallas was always going to be a slightly quicker than him, and he was going to be half a yard in front. He ends up dragging it over, and now McAvoy is running the tightrope, and you can bet your bottom dollar he'll be spoken about at half time about targeting him.
Well, let's see what Southend can do. We've had the 5 minutes of stoppage time, so this will be it. Previously, Joe Gubbins felt he was pulled in the box and fouled. Nothing doing. What can they do with this one? Bridge is going to whip this one in. Gubbins is forward. Parallon is there as well. Ralph has come in. Southend have committed forward here. In it comes from Bridge towards the far post. It came off the head of Woodman, did it? No, Southend head last, and that will be the half-time whistle. So a disastrous 5 minute spell in this first half period that saw Southend reduced to 10 with a red card for Ben Goodliff, which you can have no complaints about, and then the double whammy of a strike by Olafola Olamola that has given Wealdstone the lead, but instead of it being a tide of blue putting Southend under a lot of pressure and putting them to the sword with the man advantage, Southend remain steadfast, they remain solid at the back, and they are still in this cup tie at the break. Glenn.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, Blues have gone a goal behind. I thought they took a while to get their composure right. It was a couple of minutes, wasn't it, before they actually got Joe Gubbins on the pitch, and since then they've reorganised. And there has been one or two moments. I think inevitably you're going to have those scary moments, but Blues have dealt with them on the whole. Now the important thing is the delivery on those free kicks. They've had a number of free kicks. They've eventually got one of the Wealdstone players on a yellow card. If the referee is going to be that type of person that's going to even it up, as McAvoy collected that. But it looks like now we've seen the pattern, how it's going to pan out now for the rest of this for the second half. The Blues are going to have to relinquish that territory, let Wealdstone have the possession, because inevitably they're getting frustrated. They base their game a lot on counter-attack, breaking the ball, winning possession in their first third, and then transferring it very quickly for their pacey forwards. It's a little bit different for them now. Kevin will be talking about organisation, making sure their shape's spot on, making sure the distances between the midfield players and the defenders are absolutely spot on, so there's no gaps for Wealdstone to exploit. And when they do get possession, they are making the best of it so far, and they've picked up 3 or 4 free kicks in dangerous areas, Ben. But as you've said in commentary, they have to make them count. They have to make them work. Ollie Coker at the moment, he's putting balls into decent areas. Blues just not being able to get on the end of it. I would like to see a left footer whipping it in towards goal or cause a few more problems, but it's still all to play for. You're staying in it at this stage in a cup game. You're staying in it. I think there will become a stage in the second half, Ben, when they've got to throw the kitchen sink at it, but at the moment it's important that Blues stay in the game.
Down but not out yet. Half time on BBC Essex FA Cup first round. Wealdstone 1, Southend 0.
BBC Essex.
Bursting through doors, one after the other, trying to find the exit. She turns and she runs back to where she came from. Instinctively, she turns to check, only to see a figure standing in the doorway, writing in the grime on the window. If you're a budding playwright with original material, then I could put you centre stage on the BBC. Head to bbc.co.uk/upload.
BBC Upload.
With Rob Jelly.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Tom Larson-Wright.
BBC Essex Sport.
3:53. Tom Larson-Wright with you on BBC Essex Sport then. So contrasting fortunes in that first half for the U's and the Blues. Colchester going ahead through a fantastic goal by all accounts from Micah and Bick, the on loan forward. Shooting from distance, he spotted the goalkeeper Connor Truman off his line and managed to somehow curl it into the corner, put the U's 1-0 up. But then they were pegged back. Russian Hepburn Murphy for the Dons, getting his team back on level terms and slightly catching out goalkeeper Matt Macy from a tight angle. So the U's 1-1 at the break at home to MK Dons. Then Southend, as we were hearing there with Ben Fryer and Glenn Pennyfather, added time towards the end of that first half. They're a goal down and a man down at Wealdstone. Ben Goodliff sent off on around about 16 minutes for denying a goal-scoring opportunity. He got caught out, dwelling on the ball perhaps in defence and in possession of the ball, caught out, and then had to bring the player down as he was running towards goal. Then a few minutes later, they went a goal down. Olafella Olamola, the goal scorer for Wealdstone, to put them 1-0 up. He was involved in that red card and he got the goal. Since then, though, Southend, as Ben was saying, holding firm and in fact creating opportunities themselves. As I mentioned, free kicks and set piece is going to be crucial for the Blues if they can find a way back into that one. Down to 10 men. A possible foul on Joe Gubbins, the substitute, when they did put a ball into the box in stoppage time of that first half, but nothing given. So Wealdstone 1, the Blues 0 at the break. If you want to get in touch with us wherever you're listening, let us know where you're listening from and what you thought of those first halves for your team. To text us 81333 and just start your message with the word Essex. WhatsApp also 08000 321 333, and on X we are at BBC Essex Sport. We'll get back off to commentary as we approach the second half of those games. Just get you up to speed with what's happening elsewhere. Starting in the Premier League, plenty of 3 o'clock kickoffs this afternoon. Brighton are 1-0 up at home to Leeds United. Danny Welbeck with a goal on 11 minutes. It's Burnley 0, Arsenal 2. Goals from Victor Gyökeres and Declan Rice, putting Arsenal 2 to the good, and they remain at the top of the table as it stands. Crystal Palace 1, Brentford 0. John Philip Mateta, who else? Fulham 1, Wolves 0. So Wolves wait for a first win this season goes on, and they're also down to 10 men. Wolverhampton Wanderers. At the break, the final Premier League game, Forest 0, Manchester United 1. Casemiro on the score sheet again, an unlikely goal scorer for United. In the Scottish Premiership, Falkirk 3, Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 2, Dundee 0, as Hearts continue their good start to the season. Livingston 1, Hibernian 1. In the Championship then, the early kickoffs finished Leicester City 0, Blackburn Rovers 2, Norwich City 0, Hull City 2, and goalless between West Brom and Sheffield Wednesday. At the break, it's Birmingham City 1, Portsmouth 0, Charlton 0, Swansea 0, 1-1 between Oxford and Millwall. It's 1-1 as well between QPR and Ipswich. Sheffield United trail at home 1-0 to Derby County at Sheffield United's ground. Southampton 0, Preston North End 1, and Stoke City 3, Bristol City 0. Watford are 2-0 up at home to Middlesbrough. We'll drop down then to the FA Cup. So many games going on at 3 o'clock. It's the first round, of course. We already know about Colchester United 1, MK Dons 1, and Southend trailing 1-0 at Wealdstone. Earlier on, it finished Chelmsford 4, Braintree 1 in the Essex derby, so Chelmsford are through to the second round. At the break then, Wimbledon 0, Gateshead 1, so that's a possible shock. National League against League 2. Barnsley 1, York City 1, so York are holding off Barnsley at the moment. Blackpool 1, Scunthorpe United 0. Bolton 1, Huddersfield 0. Boreham Wood of the National League 2, Crawley Town 0. 2 goal scorers formerly of Southend United for Boreham Wood, Matt Rush and Zach Brunt. Goalless between Bromley and Bristol Rovers. Burton 1, St Albans 0. Goalless between Buxton and Chatham Town, 2 non-league teams going at it in that one. Cambridge United, are 3-0 up at home to Chester. It's Cheltenham 1, Bradford 0, Crewe 1, Doncaster 0, Fleetwood are 1 up at home to Barnet. Grimsby Town trail at home to Ebbsfleet United. However, Ebbsfleet are down to 10 men. Halifax 0, Exeter 2, a goal fest at Macclesfield. It's Macclesfield 3, AFC Totton 3. And Mansfield are 1-up at home to Harrogate. It's 1-1 between Newport County and Gillingham. Oldham Athletic lead Northampton Town by 2-0. That's League 2 against League 1. 2 goals from Mellon there within 2 minutes for the Latics. Elsewhere, Peterborough 1, Cardiff City 0. That's an all League 1 tie. Reading 1, Carlisle United 0, Rotherham United 1, Swindon 0, Salford 0, Lincoln City 1, Slough Town 2, Altrincham 0, so a possible shock on the cards for Slough against Altrincham. Spennymoor Town 0, Barrow 1, goalless between Stevenage and Chesterfield. Sutton United 1, AFC Telford 0, Tranmere Rovers 0, Stockport County 0, Weston-super-Mare 0, Aldershot Town 1, Wigan Athletic are 1-up at home to Hemel Hempstead, and it's goalless between Wycombe Wanderers and Plymouth Argyle. That's all of the FA Cup first round ties that have kicked off at 3 o'clock for you. Locally, scores involving our Essex non-league teams. In the Isthmian Premier Division, Aveley are 4-0 up at home to Ramsgate. I think they're looking to make it 4 wins on the bounce. Brentwood Town, however, are 4-0 down at home to Wingate and Finchley. Brentwood Town going incredibly well in their first season in the Isthmian Premier, but they're trailing to Wingate and Finchley. It's Burgess Hill Town 0, Canvey Island 0, and Folkestone Invicta 1, Billericay Town 0. In the Isthmian North Division, goalless between Concord Rangers and Lowestoft Town. Takeley Trail 2-0 at Felixstowe Walton United. It's goalless between Heybridge Swifts and Brantham Athletic. Stanway Rovers are 2-up away at Newmarket Town, so a good result on the cards for Stanway. Goalless between Tilbury and Walthamstow. Waltham Abbey are 1-0 up at home to Cambridge City. Whittam Town, now without Gary Kimball, 1-0 up at home to Mildenhall Town. And last night in the Essex Derby, it finished Bowers and Pitsea 1, Grays Athletic 2. That gets you up to date with the local scores here on BBC Essex. It's 4 o'clock.
BBC Essex Sport.
Tom Larson right with you on BBC Essex Sport. Then we're making our way through a bumper weekend of FA Cup first round action here. 2 games involving Colchester and Southend, the 3 o'clock kickoffs that we're focusing on at the moment. And the U's are 1-1 at home to MK Dons at the break.
Anderson to Mbic. Mbic's onside. He sees the goalkeeper off his line, and that's a consummate, wonderful finish. Is there anything this young man, Micah Mbic, can't do? Lovely pass down the right-hand side. Mbic got away, but he must have been 35, 40 yards out. Connell Truman was off his line. Mbic saw that, and the U's lead in the FA Cup first round against MK Dons. Ball's into use penalty, and Macy doesn't quite get there, and it rolls into the back of the net, and MK Dons are back on level terms. Hepburn Murphy escaped the offside trap. His shot, Macy got something on it from an acute angle, and then the ball agonisingly bounced towards the goal and over the line, and rather surprisingly, MK Dons back on level terms.
So Colchester taking a lead with a fantastic goal. We're hearing from Micah and Bick. You'll be able to watch that back on the BBC Sport website later on this afternoon. But then drawing level, MK Dons getting back on level terms 10 minutes towards the break. So Colchester have to get ahead again in that one. Meanwhile, Southend have got a bit of a mountain to climb. They're a goal down and a man down at Wealdstone.
The ball comes forward from Southend. Woodman's headed the ball beyond his goalkeeper. Southend trying to pick up the pieces, but the blocks are coming in strongly from Wealdstone. Defensive mix up there between Woodman and Baptiste. For a moment the goal was gaping, but Dallas and Hopper just couldn't get the shots away. Wealdstone came in with the blocks, and somehow it stays 0-0. Hutchinson gets behind his man, plays the ball into the box, and now it's 1-0. Olamola sweeps it from the right hand side from the ball in from Hutchinson, and it goes from bad to worse in the opening stages for Southend United. Just a couple of minutes after going down to 10, it's Wealdstone 1, Southend 0.
There you go, Blues down to 10 men and trailing at Wealdstone. Can they get themselves back in it though? They've been battling hard and making the most of their set pieces. Colchester United then on 103.5 FM, BBC Sounds and Freeview 716. Southend away at Wealdstone on 95.3 FM, DAB and the BBC Sport website and app. Time to choose your game. It's 3 minutes past 4.
BBC Essex Sport.
Just underway for this second half in the FA Cup tie between Colchester United and MK Dons. Locked 1-1. Mbick, as you just heard, sublime goal for the U's. And then Hepburn Murphy equalising from an acute angle. No changes at the break. I was going to say the third hour of Essex Sport, but no, we've been underway since the morning. There's the truth of it, as MK Dons threaten down the right hand side with goal scorer Hepburn Murphy hammers the one in, takes a deflection, and Mike Mbick wasn't sure who came up last, but he does better than that. Keeps in play, lovely ball forward. Now Arthur Reid is tackled already at that. A big win for Chelmsford City in the Essex Derby against Braintree Town in this competition by 4-1. Southend 1-0 down against Wealdstone at the break and down to 10 men, but very much still, listening to Ben Fryer, closing stage of the first half, very much still in that contest and this contest. Well, we expected it to be close, and so it's proved as Lisby wins the ball back, sets up Anderson, shooting chance, and keep. This was a great aplomb. He waited for the goalkeeper to go down and then crashed it into the roof of the net. This man's in form at the JobServe Community Stadium. It's his 6th in 2.5 games. Early doors, second half, Colchester United winning it back in the final third of the pitch. Fed Anderson, and Anderson thereafter was not to be denied, lifting it beyond the keeper, and the user back in front. Colchester United 2, MK Dons 1.
Yeah, and they're the improvements you want to see from young players. Lisby getting in that position. Can he go for goal? Does he know what's around him? He does. He gets it into Anderson. It was right at Anderson, so he couldn't hit it first time, so he has to take a touch, and then he feels cleverly and correctly that the keeper and a couple of defenders converging on him, so he pulls it back onto his left foot, and then once again, like they're all diving in at him, so he lifts it high into the net to put Colchester United ahead. And all those talks at half time about how you're going to go about it, that's what you've got to do, and you've got to be clinical in those areas. And clinical sometimes as a forward is making sure you make that right decision at the end when you feel like you want to score, and then you square it to someone who's in a better position than you.
Different sort of goals. Actually, it's going to be hard to rival Mike Mbick's goal, because that's one for the ages. But Harry Anderson, he looks like a player who's in terrific form in front of goal.
Yeah, and to be fair, when he's been fit and when he's been really firing, you see how strong he is, you see what he brings to the team, purely as someone playing for the team, but individually he's very, very good in that final 30. He's very good at sniffing out good positions where he knows he's going to get chances.
Kelly to Mellish for MK Dons. Early ball in the use. Pellier takes a touch of Jack Tucker last, out for a corner kick. MK Dons have already got themselves back on level terms once. Ipswich restore their lead in West London. QPR 1, Ipswich 2. A rare goal for Junior Chamadou, the 4th of the afternoon in the Championship for Stoke against Bristol City. But the big news on BBC Essex, very early on in the second half, the U's are back in front, but they're defending a corner, and it's headed just wide of the target, and even then there was a player arriving at the far post who tried to divert the ball into the back of the net. MK Dons threatening the U's from a set piece, but the U's are in front. Oldham 3, Northampton 0, Buxton 0, Chatham Town 1, and this is the FA Cup. Chelmsford City are into the second round. Southend battling for their lives, 1-0 down and a man down at Wealdstone. But here on 103.5 FM, Colchester United back in front, and Jaden Williams working so hard as Arthur Reid takes the free kick from the wrong position, doing a lot of his good work deep. The replacement for Jack Payne in a Colchester United lineup of Macy in goal, Iandolo, Arujo, Tucker and Hunt in defence, Reid and Bishop in midfield, Anderson, Lisby providing the width and leading the attack. Did I say Hunt? I meant to say Vincent Young playing at right back. Jaden Williams, Anderson, Lisby further forward, and Mike Mbick in spectacular style leading from the front as I thought he might get injured there for a moment, challenging the goalkeeper. There was some contact as Palace double their lead against Brentford, and Gibbs White equalises for Nottingham Forest against Manchester United. Oldham 3, Northampton Town 0, and Danny Cowley once more from the U supporters, who were disappointed as they give the ball away cheaply. But the referee saw a pull, so even though Henderson won the ball fairly, Arthur Reed will go into the referee's book.
Yeah, and I think that pull on his arm just meant he didn't get there before Harry Anderson. The referee feels that was deliberate enough to go. But let's just go back to MK Dons' last attack. I think it's a massive let off, because I think it's an awful header on the far post.
It missed by about 3 yards.
Yeah,
but even then they almost kept the ball in play. It was that wayward, the header, but it was from a strong position, as David says. 7 minutes into the second half, floated forward, flicked on. MK Dons are a threat, and they will remain a threat as they wriggle the ball to the edge of the penalty area through Dan Crowley until the other number 7, Harry Anderson, thumps the ball clear. Super goals for Micah Mbick, and then a really good top quality finish from Harry Anderson. In between, Hepburn Murphy putting MK Dons back on level terms. He's Mendes Lang digging it out, putting in the cross at the far post. Look at that wonderful interception, and a timely one from Arthur Reed. And I do hope Mickey Steele, you're enjoying this afternoon. I know many of you won't come across Mickey because he works in the tunnel, making sure that people like me don't go where I shouldn't go, not where I'm supposed to go. Mickey's ill, he's in hospital today, but I hope you're enjoying this commentary on BBC Essex. You should do. 2 spectacular goals, but MK Dons far from defeated, everything to play for. 2-1 to the use, as Gateshead looked like they'd be writing the headlines in the FA Cup nationally this afternoon. In South London, Southwest, Wimbledon 0, Gateshead 2. That's National League against League 1. Here it's the U's 2, fellow League 2 outfit MK Dons 1. Into the U's penalty area, Mellish pulls it back. He's crossed, blocked by Tucker. Mellish had too much space. This is a good response from MK Dons, having fallen behind for a second time, and the U's get everyone back to deal with the threat. Macclesfield 4, AFC Tottenham 3.
Yeah, I think that they get everyone back because MK Dons, 2 of MK Dons' centre halves were within 40 yards of Colchester United's goal, so the Colchester United forwards had to go back with them, and so when the ball is cleared, we don't want to get into that too much over a long spell of being all kind of pinned back, because when you do clear it, it just goes to an MK Dons player, and then they come at you again.
Manchester United led at half-time, trail in the second half. 2 quick-fire goals for Forest at the City Ground, and we've had a goal here with Colchester United back in front against MK Dons. But if anything, their response to conceding the second goal was better than their response to conceding the first goal, because they hadn't really threatened to equalise when they did so first time round.
No, and if anything, Colchester United looked like it had really galvanised them going ahead, and we had a good few minutes of not real pressure on the keeper Truman, but certainly good football in the opposition half. And then all of a sudden their goal came out of the blue. Let's be honest, it was just one long ball forward that, and maybe a little bit of misjudgment on where the MK Dons player was starting his run from, meant us thinking that he would be going into an offside position.
Doncaster equalised against Crewe. All these scores in the FA Cup are intermixed with a few Premier League goals. Great turn by Anderson. Firm tackle comes in. Handball, and the referee now pulls back play, either for an injury to Anderson, because I don't think it's Colchester United going to get the free kick.
It's not. The ball was played forward by MK Dons. It hit the referee, so the referee has to stop the game, and she'll look at it and know which team the ball was going to, which I don't think she'll be able to ascertain because she had her back to it. So I think she'll give it back to MK Dons. It looks like the MK Dons team have backed off a little bit, unless she's given the free kick because there wasn't an advantage. But it definitely hit the ref.
That was my initial thought. Stockport 1-up against Tranmere. Sutton double their lead against Telford. Southend trail Chelmsford City are through. Colchester United 2-1 up against MK Dons. 11 minutes into the second half. Different sort of goals, but both great goals when you get a chance to see them. Be on the BBC after this game as Lisby chases after it. Defender shepherds the ball out of play, and David was quick to emphasise the contribution of Carice Lisby to Harry Anderson's goal that restored the U's lead.
Absolutely, and that's the sort of thing. Your wide players are wide, but they're both really, really clever at when they come inside. You know, we saw, I think, 2 of Harry's goals of his hat-trick were from central areas, and that one was as well. So as soon as the player on the opposite side getting in a good position, can you get in the box?
Sorry to interrupt, David. Lovely combination work from Vincent Young and Jaden Williams, and they continue with it as the U's break down the right hand side and Jaden Williams goes to ground. The home fans, especially those in the south stand, want a free kick, but I should point out that in the second half the U's are playing from right to left. So they wouldn't have got a very good view of it, but it was excellent work to get them up the pitch in the manner that they did, even if they didn't get the free kick. Sanders passes the ball back to Ekpieta to Connell Truman, who was beat in glorious style by Micah Mbick in the first half. What a finish from 38-40 yards, maybe slightly left, and lovely control by Mbick, but he can't quite thread the ball through.
It was a precise ball that he had to play there between 2 defenders, and wasn't quite able to find the gap.
Arujo heads the ball up in the air, but it's instantly hit forward by Will Collar. The target was Mendes Lang, and Mendes Lang tried to head the ball back to Collar. MK Dons threaten. Mendes Lang sets up Hepburn Murphy, and he scores his second of the afternoon. And the U's again are opened up on the right hand side, and it's Hepburn Murphy with a precise finish, and we're back on level terms for the second round in this topsy-turvy FA Cup first round tie. Colchester United 2, MK Dons 2.
Yeah, and the ball goes forward, and then it drops into the midfield for MK Dons to pick up centrally. So once that's happened, and then Colchester players seem to get sucked into a central area, and when the ball comes through on that right hand side, he's allowed to just control it. Hepburn Murphy's allowed to control it on his right foot, puts himself in a great position, so he hasn't got to think too much about his next touch, because he knows his next touch is the shot. And exactly as you'd expect good forwards to do, go across the keeper into that far corner, and they go once again. Colchester United concede a goal that you look at it, and you obviously want to see it again, because you've got to see it again to pick it.
Mbick turns, rattles in across, clatters off the defender. It'll be a corner kick to Colchester United in a promising position, as they've been pegged back for the second time this afternoon. Pity, so important to hold on to their lead, because they've got pace to burn if they could have hit MK Dons on the counter-attack. But I never thought they were going to win this tie until they got that 2-goal advantage, and they haven't been able to do so. Corner kick, and Mbick meets it at the near post. Vincent Young puts the ball back into the penalty area. Tucker sets up Iandolo. Iandolo was on his left foot, but it was good cover by the defender Aaron Neyman. The U's build again, right hand side of the penalty area. Vincent Young gets to the goal line, pulls it back, defender doesn't deal with it. Anderson strikes into the ground, turning at full stretch, not able to get proper contact. Goal kick, 60 minutes gone, and it's still on level terms, and we've had 4 goals. Ipswich are winning 3-1 against QPR. Second goal of the afternoon for Hurst, and Chesterfield with the first goal of the afternoon at the Lamex Stadium. Stevenage 0, Chesterfield 1. 4 goals here. 5 in a lunchtime kickoff, with Chelmsford City beating Braintree by 4 goals to 1. Just 1 Wealdstone versus Southend United, the home side with the goal and the man advantage with the sending off of Ben Goodliff. Flicked inside and chested down by Bishop. Referee says foul. Free kick to MK Dons, and they'll have this free kick slightly left of centre, just beyond the halfway line, and they'll push. I was going to say they'll push the big men forward, but a bit like Colchester United, they're not the big side, not like we're going to see next week when Bromley come to town. I say come to town, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean all three centre halves have gone up for it on the just on the angle of where the free kick's coming onto, so they'll be looking for the second header once the ball goes in the box.
But it's headed away by Ayandolo, and Mbik's fouled his man, but referee wants to see if there's any advantage. I saw it, and just wonder, it'll be a free kick to. I think in fairness, the home fans think the referee's made a mistake there, and Danny Cowley's having a word with the fourth official. David, do you think it was a foul? Grimsby have come from behind and lead Ebbsfleet by 2-1, just like you kind of anticipated.
I've got to admit, I thought that was a foul, and I think the referee, I think it was just the fact that it went on for a few seconds longer than it usually does. I mean, I'm always quick to praise the referees that go back to a obvious foul when there isn't an advantage, so I think that was one she got right.
Liam Kelly will take the free kick, right-footed. Macy elects not to come, knowing that the ball is going to swirl out of play, but it actually stays in play, and Mike Mbik, helping out defensively, does a good job as right back. As I said in the commentary, is there anything this man can do, this young man? So Grimsby 2, Ebbsfleet 1. Harrogate have an equalise against Mansfield, 1-1 there. And Carice Lisby chests the ball down, goes over, doesn't get a free kick, 1-1. Liam Kelly onto Hepburn Murphy, who's on a hat-trick this afternoon. Finds Mellish for Mendes Lang for Kelly, and MK Dons who work this one now as he fires into the penalty area, and at full stretch he can't quite connect with Will Collar.
Yeah, and I think Collar's just put off by Ellis Ianlo in front of him, just making a last ditch effort to try and block the ball through. He doesn't quite get there, and it's almost as if Collar then thinks he might touch it, so he's waiting for that touch, doesn't quite get on the end of it, but MK Don's certainly asking more questions than Colchester United are at the other end.
Yeah, they've probably overall been slightly the better side in the second half. However, that they fell behind for the second time with that wonderful work to win it back from Carice Lisby, and then Harry Anderson with so much work to do, finishing with some aplomb, smashing it into the roof of the net. 2-2 here. Good headed clearance by Ekpieta. Vincent Young commits, leaves a gap behind him with Arthur Reid will fill, and then Reid will have some work to do as a defender in the right back position. Helped out at the expense of a corner. No, it isn't. Is that Vincent Young who's worked his way back, having committed himself forward to ensure that MK Dons don't profit, but MK Dons back again, moving forward. They've been decent this afternoon, especially this man Hepburn Murphy, 2 goals to his name, spreads it out to Aaron Nemain with a teasing ball. Mellish heads it back inside. Reid gets there before Kelly, and Reid has no option but to put the ball out of play, and MK Dons are beginning to put the U's under some pressure.
Yeah, they are, and it's been coming for a couple of minutes, hasn't it now, and they're getting good possession of the ball just inside of Colchester United's half. I think Crowley and Kelly are getting on the ball, and that's allowing the players further forward to get good positions.
Good jinking run by Nemain, then puts the cross in right-footed. Lisby was trying to pass to Jaden Williams, doesn't, but wins it back, and then he gets fouled off the ball, and the referee saw it. Is that who's the guy who's done the foul, David?
I think it's on the left-hand side. On the left-hand side of the three, gets a yellow card.
So I didn't actually see the number, because Mellish, of course, who plays at left wing back, has already been booked. So did you say it was offered with?
Yeah, it was with the yellow card. Yeah.
You see where I was thinking. We've already had a big sending off this afternoon. We've had 2. Braintree down to 10 men. Ends up losing 4-1 to Chelmsford City. Savenne down to 10 men on 95.3 FM, DAB Digital and BBC Sounds. Down to 10 men, trailing a 1-0. Hughes drawing 2-2, but wonderful play. Ayandolo started the move. He gets it back. He finds Anderson on the left-hand side. Anderson can't stop scoring at home. 6 goals in 2.5 games. It was a lovely ball round the corner by Bishop, but Anderson perhaps thought Bick was going to make the run, and Bick works hard, wins the corner for the U's.
Yeah, and he was putting Pateta under immense pressure there, and in the end the defender just runs it out of play for a corner. Asks a question of the referee if there was a foul, but certainly didn't look like it from up here.
If the U's get a penalty, who is the nominated penalty taker? There's no Jack Payne, of course, this afternoon.
Well, I've seen
Arthur
Reed's out there, and Jaden Williams has taken a penalty.
Reed with a corner, left-footed, unconvincing clearance. Arujo hammers one in, strikes a man in grey. I don't think he really hit it that well. A throw-in for the U's. Vincent Young takes it quickly for Teddy Bishop. Apex of the penalty area, far side of the pitch. 2-2, the U's attacking the goal to our left. Ellis Iangelo now on the left-hand side. Smart ball inside to Mbick. Mbick, central position. Back out to Vincent Young. Square ball to Arthur Reed. Patient build-up from Colchester United in the 67th minute. Vincent Young's tackled. Does want to foul his man. Is it Carice Lisby down there on the right-hand side? I thought he'd run a corner kick, but it is a goal kick. 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely came off Lisby last. I wondered if there was a little trip on him as he went past the defender. The assistant over that side was within a couple of yards, so he'll have to bow down to his far better view of things, of whether it was just Lisby losing his footing a little bit or a foul.
Fulham double their lead against Wolves, who are also have had a man sent off, and it's QPR 1, Ipswich Town 4. The goalkeeper, Connell Truman for MK Dons, takes the goal kick. The inside left position was the target. Tucker again wins the header, hooked away by the defender for Ekpieter for the visitors. And it'll be a throw-in for Colchester United, far side of the pitch. Vincent Young inside to Mbick. Mbick to Jaden Williams. Jaden Williams feinted to return it to Mbick. Maybe you might have wished he did, because MK Dons almost got away first time, and they still will attack second time down the right hand side. Tucker's committed himself to getting across and does so. Excellent tackle to avert any danger, but MK Dons are a danger.
Yeah, they are. I mean, and that was great play from Tucker there, because he spots where the next ball might go to, knows he's free, so he's able to get across and cover that area way out to the left of where he's playing on that right side of the centre halves.
Crowley to Ekpieter. I think I missed out the 2. I should know that because he's got big Essex connections that I was mentioning earlier. Who's shouting get out to?
That's Nicky from behind us up on the gantry.
That's why it's so loud. Samson Tavide is about to join the action, but it ain't easy deciding on the timings of substitutions, because let me remind you that if this game is level after 90 minutes, it will be extra time at the JobServe Community Stadium, just like it was last season when the usual 1-1 after 90 minutes against Swindon and lost in extra time. As MK Dons threatened down the left-hand side, Tucker slowed up Hepburn Murphy, and it was then won back as Mbick chases after it through the middle onto Lisby. Lisby with the back heel. Don't think Micah Mbick could have anticipated that, and he was about 2 yards to the left. Reading double their lead against Carlisle as MK Dons cross the halfway line on BBC Essex. Both sides chasing a winner. They've got just under a quarter of the game to do so, as Mendes Lang fires in a cross, and it comes off Iandolo out for a corner kick to the visitors.
Yeah, and you're just being hypercritical there. A young player trying a little thing on the edge of the box, where if he secures the ball and then looks, he might be able to find a way of getting Mbick in.
Ball's flowed towards the far post, header wide of the target. He ought to have done better.
Yeah, he had to do better. I mean, it's another one floated into that far post, a different kind of set piece to the one we had earlier on in this second half. But on both occasions, MK Dons have got a player free on the far side.
I think there's Will Collar with the chance. So substitutions. Mellish this afternoon, he's complete for MK Dons, and he'll be replaced by Joe Tomlinson. And for Colchester United, Jaden Williams is replaced by Samson Davide. So the U's have got two out-and-out attackers.
Yeah, they have, and whether that means Danny's going to use them as two out-and-out attackers. And Big just asking the question of whether they're going to both be playing up there together, or one of them's going to just sit a tiny bit deeper than the other. They're playing against three centre-halves, so you think they can probably both be up there, and certainly a sign that Danny wants to go on and win it in this last 18 and a half minutes or so.
Macclesfield 5, AFC Tottenham 3, and also in the FA Cup, Mansfield 2, Harrogate 1. Jaden Williams, in terms of his contribution, probably the better of it came when he dropped deep. Well, where he really could do the damage is further forward. Big leap from him, but he's fallen on his man. So worked hard, but perhaps not able to make the contribution where he'd really want to that bit further forward.
Absolutely, yeah. And sometimes in games like this, where he was sitting in and around the deepest player in that midfield for MK Dons, which is most of the time has been Crowley. And when MK Dons got the ball, he was moving up 10-15 yards further forward than like you say, Williams would have liked to be.
Yeah.
But he had to be there to do the job that he's been asked to do. So when he gets the ball, he's a little bit deeper, but I felt he contributed well and did what he needed to do.
Tranmere equalise against Stockport, and Swindon do against Northampton Town as Carice Lisby chases after it. Defender offered calm sort of footballing defender. Under a little bit of pressure, but a precise pass back to his keeper Truman, who clatters the ball away down the left-hand side. And MK Dons, who do look very comfortable on the ball. They were like that last season under Scott Lindsay, but I think this season they've got a little bit more menace. And twice they've come from behind, but they've given the ball away cheaply there to Teddy Bishop. It's 2-2 if you're just joining us on BBC Essex, and Grimsby lead Ebbsfleet by 3 goals to 1. He's the U's defender Tucker. Thrown a lot in the air this afternoon. Arujo, the Fulham loanee, out to Bishop. A foul off the ball on Iandolo. You foul a player off the ball, isn't that just a regulation yellow card?
Well, you think so, don't you? I mean, the referee's going to take him.
Stop play.
She's stopped the play. She's having a word with him. But I haven't seen her go to her pocket for the card. No, it doesn't look like she's going to. She's just going to have a word with Collar.
Will Collar had a really good heading opportunity to put MK Dons in front for what would be the first time this afternoon. Arujo takes the free kick, headed up in the air. When it comes down near the corner flag, Carice Lisby endeavours to get the ball under control.
No, he was just holding the defender away to get the corner.
He knew he was going out for a corner. Over the far side of the pitch, Brighton on the south coast leads now by 3 goals to 0. Ollie Palmer, who's got that goal for Swindon, the equaliser against Rotherham, hit the post against the U's late on. Though the U's had a great chance involving Samson Tavidi, didn't they? And he's on. And now inside the 6-yard box, alongside his striking partner, Micah Mbick. Iandolo's the target at the far post. The referee spots a block.
Yeah, Harry Anderson just blocking off the allowed on this occasion. Ellis Iandolo to come round the back post unopposed, and the referee spots it on that occasion. I think that happened a couple of times in the first half with Jack Tucker getting in on the far post, but on this one the referee was alert to it.
15 to go, and then stoppage time, and then thereafter extra time. Will there be a winner before then on BBC Essex 103.5 FM BBC Sounds? That's a push by Arujo. Pity, because I thought he was favoured for the header. Spennymoor Town 0, Barrow 2. Going to form. There, I say form, but going to the structure of the pyramid. Spennymoor must be one of the clubs, like Malden and Tiptree, at the bottom end of the pyramid structure, still to be in the competition. Malden and Tiptree play Port Vale tomorrow afternoon. Matt Barker and April Smith are in the potteries for that. This is floated into the used penalty area, headed away by Arujo. A flick on out of the box by Tavida. Shot from distance to an offside position, blazed wide anyway. MK Dons be disappointed with the finish, but the referee's distance flag had gone up from offside. A double substitution coming for MK Dons. Yep, don't forget BBC Essex Sport football on air tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock, with Matt and April. Game underway at 3 o'clock. That's Port Vale versus Milton and Tiptree. You can just spend the whole weekend listening to BBC Essex, which I'd recommend you do anyway, but especially if you like your football. And all to try and get through to the second round, where maybe you could go to Boreham Wood, because they're now 3-0 up against Crawley. Stockport have restored their lead against Tranmere, 2-1. Ironic applause from the home supporters, because the referee gives them a free kick for a foul on Harry Anderson. That looks like it hurts as he holds the lower part of his back.
Yeah, I think Nemain just kind of got a knee in the back of Harry Anderson as Harry went to collect the ball. Short ball into his feet from Ellis Iandolo, just took a knee to the very, very bottom of his spine by the look of it.
Bromley 0, Bristol Rovers 1. Bromley are here next week. Get your tickets for that game. It's a lunchtime kickoff, 12:30. If you can't get there, it's live on BBC Essex. As the used keeper, Matt Macy, just plays the ball out to Jack Tucker. Day turns into night with 13 minutes to go. Iandolo, wasn't much of a gap down there, and he couldn't get it past Nemain. Cups off Iandolo last. It'll be a throw-in. Danny Cowley's having a word with the fourth official, and Harry Anderson, I tell you what, that blow to the lower back, David, really is hurting, because he's back down on the ground.
Yeah, he is. I mean, and for him to go down with it, it is a painful one. Just waiting for the Colchester physio to be allowed on the pitch or not. I mean, the referee's saying that he's got to go off the pitch, but surely if he's on the deck.
6 goals in 3 games from Harry Anderson. A rich vein of form, physically strong, and a purple patch of goals that he will have struggled to rival for the rest of his career, certainly at home. 6 in 2.5 games in league, well, 3 games now almost in league and cup, especially if he was to be substituted. One of the use options. They've already brought on Samson Tavide for Jaden Williams. They've got Aurora Edwards on the bench, no doubt itching, along with John Kimani-Gordon, to get involved in the action. 2-2.
Yeah, it's an area of the field where I think Colchester United have got plenty of bodies there that are more than capable at League 2, and on this occasion in the FA Cup against a fellow League 2 side.
Mendes Lang tries to get past Teddy Bishop. Good lead by Tavide. Ball's out of play. It came off Tavide last, so it'll be a throw-in, logically speaking, to MK Dons. Thompson wants to throw it down the right-hand side. That's Nathan Thompson, experienced defender who came on as substitute. Chested down by Tavide. Iandolo opens up his body to find Anderson, gets it back, feeds it through for Tavide. Tavide, early ball into the box, and it just bounces behind. As a consequence, Carice Lisby as it hit an MK Dons player, and there's a Hughes man on the ground.
It's Teddy Bishop just holding his head,
so hopefully he'll be alright. Good run of games for Teddy Bishop, and manager Danny Cowley on BBC Essex saying Teddy Bishop, Arthur Reed, Jack Payne, the best 3 in the middle for any side in League 2 this season. Quite a thing to say.
He is, yeah, but I can't disagree. I think you look at them and how good they are on the ball, and there's been question marks over the season of how well they can be defensively if the opposition have got the ball, but they've all proved that they don't mind getting around things and getting stuck in. I'm just looking at Teddy Bishop. That was an awkward one because he looked like he was having a free header at the ball, and he just got a nudge just before he went to head it. So hopefully, it isn't too serious, but you're hoping that he sat up and that, so you're thinking, well, it isn't going to be too much in the top of his spine around his neck, that just jarred it, so you're hoping he's all right on that sense, but I think he'll have to come off for 30 seconds, and I'm not sure. I'm even not sure who had the ball. I think MK Dons had it, so I presume they'll get given the ball back.
You have options wide out, less so in the engine room of midfield. Bristol Rovers get a second goal in rapid succession, now leading Kent 2-0 against Bromley. Wickham do the same thing at home to Plymouth. All this in the FA Cup first round. Barnsley trailed against National League club York City. They're now 2-1 up. Burton Albion, regulation victory against non-league St Albans, now 4-0 up. And still Teddy Bishop receiving treatment.
Yeah, just trying to work out what it is he's being treated for, because you can't really tell from here, because he's been blocked off by the physio.
Watching out to see how much activity there is on the bench. And is it a good sign when I say there doesn't look to be that much urgency in that regard? 2-2.
No, just looking down to our left, there's 4 Colchester United substitutes all going through their pre warm-ups ahead a bit, so they're ready to go on whenever it goes. And you're right, in that midfield area there's less backup on the bench in that area. Obviously Milton only can come in there, but if you're stuck, then I think someone would have to go into midfield and drop in, and then someone might have to go in the 10. But you've almost lost that option anyway with Jack Payne coming out of the side.
Fulham 3, Wolves 0. As early ball into the use penalty area by Nemain. That's blocked off. Tavide helping out. Ayandolo hits it high into the Essex sky. When it comes down, it's controlled by Ekpiteta to Liam Kelly, diminutive in stature, such a good player. Out to the right hand side to Nemain. Kelly carries on with his run, but Nemain goes backwards to the substitute Nathan Thompson for the visitors, and MK Dons having a little bit of time on the ball and a territorial advantage, and the U's get players back as Mendes Lang takes on Ellis Ayandolo and comes out second best, but the U's just can't get the ball up the pitch in possession anyway, as Manchester United through Diallo get a leveller against Nottingham Forest. 2-2 there, 2-2 here at the JobServe Community Stadium. Still Southend United trail on 95.3, both games on BBC Sounds. Out to the right hand side to Nemain, early ball into the used penalty area, and Vincent Young cannot take any risks because he knows there's a man behind him in a promising position left hand side of the penalty area, so it will be a corner kick to MK Dons.
Yeah, and when you get that bit of pressure building up and the ball's played very quickly out to the right hand side to Nemain, the opposite wing back, I think it's Tomlinson's gone out there instead of Mellish. He can take a chance and be much further up the pitch than he would have done if it had been a bit more even over the last few minutes. So he's in a position that makes Kane Vincent Young know that he can't deal with it.
Good punch by Macy from the corner kick. Clearance completed, better than that by Lisby, because he finds Ayandolo reverse ball back to Lisby, isolated up front, contact from behind, goes to ground. That's probably a good outcome for Colchester United. 2-2, Lisby still on the ground, and therefore they ought to take their time with the free kick. But it's the first time in some time that they've been able to get the ball up the pitch and into the final third, and it's an MK Dons player's turn to go down to the ground. Harrogate ain't given up, and like here, they've made it 2-2. Mansfield 2, Harrogate 2. Bromley get a goal back against Bristol Rovers, 2-1 down, and it's cramped, and that's probably because Crowley hasn't played the football he would have wanted to for MK Dons. Playmaker, midfielder, he's up quickly. The referee uses the spray to say you can't go any closer than 10 yards. Free kick to Colchester United. 5 left on BBC Essex. Reid will take it. Tucker will be the target. Tucker with the header. Scramble inside the 6-yard box. Comes out to Ayandolo. Might have shot, but there was no space, and then Reid goes early. Keeper should catch, and he does so. Tucker was the target, and Tucker won the header.
He did, yeah, and he heads it back into that dangerous area where you're just looking for that little bit of luck. I think that sometimes football, you need that little bit of luck for when a dangerous header goes into a position inside, almost on the edge of the 6-yard box. You just need it to drop for one of your teammates rather than a defender. On that occasion, MK Dons were eventually able to clear. I thought Truman should have hit it longer earlier because I think they had got players there.
That's a foul by Arujo. He's just too keen. He's got in front of him substitute Callum Patterson, striker. He's got him in front of him, and Patterson's going nowhere, and as a consequence Arujo gives a free kick to MK Dons, and they can put this one inside the Colchester United penalty area as they contemplate another substitution. Kane, Thompson, Summers for MK Dons will come on, but not before this free kick with 4 minutes to the regulation 90 to go, taken by Kelly. Game lock level 2-2 over the head of Tucker. He went for the ball but didn't get contact. Not that it mattered too much, because Mbick, playing as right back, stopped Mendes Lang from creating anything first time round. Throw in to MK Dons, a long ball towards the far post. I think it's going to go out of play. It's come off the head of Harry Anderson. And Liam Kelly finds Hepburn Murphy, who's on a hat-trick, into the youth penalty area. Nathan Mendes-Lang pulls it back, and that might win it. That might win it for MK Dons. It's the substitute Tomlinson from a central position, side-footing beyond Matt Macy, and for the first time in the afternoon, MK Dons lead, and it could be the winner. Colchester United 2, MK Dons 3. Yeah,
MK Dons getting down the right hand side, and then the ball goes over to the left. Like you say, Mbick does a good job of defending it initially, and then MK Dons keep that pressure on in and around it, and then the ball comes back out to the right, and it's hard. The cross is kind of not really cleared out the box. It just hits a couple of bodies, and Tomlinson is running onto the ball. You know exactly what he's aiming to do, just keep the ball on target and low, and he's able to do that. And unfortunately neither Matt Macy or the goalie or the defenders can manage to keep it out.
3-2 here, 3-2 Mansfield versus Harrogate, and certainly in the first half, when the U's went in front through that glorious goal from Micah Mbick, they might have gone on and got a decisive advantage. But in the second half, they got back in front. But there has been periods in the second half where MK Dons, if anything, have looked the more likely side, and they now lead by 3-0. Awura Edwards is on the left-hand side. Who's he come on for, David? Edwards winning the throw-in for the U's, taken by Ellis Iandolo. Smart turn by Bishop, pushed to the ground, might have been. Danny Cowley didn't respond.
Yeah, War Edwards has come on.
Harry Anderson's gone off. That would make sense with Anderson having been in the wars. Big blow to his lower back. So, on an afternoon where Southend are in danger of going out down to 10 men, 1-0 down at Wealdstone, the U's are in danger of joining them unless they can get a dramatic equaliser of their own. They've led twice in this game on BBC Essex, but now they trail by 3-2, and they attack down the right hand side with Lisby and Vincent Young. Apex of the penalty area, he goes back to Arthur Reid to Tucker to Arujo, just ahead of the halfway line. Lovely flick on by Iandolo, but not quite able to combine with Awura Edwards, who might have thought, as he was being warmed up to come on as substitute, that he'd get half an hour of extra time. I always think that's the danger, though, with the FA Cup. It's very difficult to time the substitutions.
Yeah, you
don't know how long.
No, absolutely, and he was ready to come on before that third goal came, but it's one of those ones
Lovely play by Micah Mbick, shrugs away a challenge, and he's just hacked down from behind by Thompson Summers, who's just come on as substitute and knows he hasn't been yellow carded.
Yeah, and he wasn't the first player to have a go either. There was another player just before him that tries to
it was horrible.
Foul him, and they both knew that they were going to get yellow cards if they managed to stop Mbick as 5 minutes is put up on the board.
It was horrible, and it was horrible because you knew that Thompson Summers knew exactly what he was doing, that he hadn't been yellow carded, that it was excellent play by Mbic, that he was moving forward in a central position, poised to pull a trigger. It was never going to be anything more than a yellow card. That's what it was. And you just, if I was to be a little bit biased for a change, instead of being my usual neutral self on BBC Essex, you just wish the U's could ram it back down their throats by scoring from this free kick left of centre, 25 yards out.
Yeah, and I mean both Arthur Reed as a left footer and Teddy Bishop as a right footer are on it. I mean, Arthur Reed's orchestrating things a bit, but it does look like it favours a right footer.
Free kick for the U's. Bishop moves away from it. Reed floated towards the far post, nodded back inside, thumped away. I was hoping Reed would go for goal. Oldham 3, Northampton 1. A consolation goal for Cam McGeehan, but Northampton are going out of the FA Cup, as are Barnet, who are 2-0 down at Fleetwood. York City back on level terms against Barnsley. That game poised to go into extra time. We thought we might have extra time at the JobServe Community Stadium, but MK Dons for the first time this afternoon in a 5-goal thriller now lead by 3 goals to 2. The U's have led twice during the course of the game, and he's Hepburn Murphy, who's onside. He scored 2 goals this afternoon. Left hand side of the U's penalty area, might have gone to the corner flag. Passes the ball back to, on that left hand side, probably Collar, hard to say, as the into the U's penalty area, and good defending at the near post. I said good defending, but it'll be a goal kick to Colchester United. 2 of 5 of stoppage time gone. Stockport are going to get into the second round. They've got the 3rd decisive goal against Tranmere. 3-1 up. Here, the U's trail by 3 goals to 2. If you're just joining us on BBC Essex, they had led 1-0. They had led 2-1. But MK Dons, in fairness, have refused to lie down. They've shown their pedigree this afternoon and now lead by 3 goals to 2. Their manager, Paul Warne, said whoever finishes ahead of Colchester United in the league this season will probably get promoted. So this will be a big scalp for them and a huge disappointment for the U's. Fleetwood 2, Barnet 1. Maybe Barnet are not out of the competition, David.
Yeah, I mean the Colchester fans getting annoyed at the officials there for making Kane Vincent Young go back a couple of yards.
We've had 3 minutes of 5 of stoppage time, and nearly all of that 3 minutes has been played in the U's half of the pitch, and now the referee has given MK Dons a set piece. It might be a throw-in, it might be a free kick, but the U's can't score from there when they ain't got the ball.
No, they can't. And I mean the idea of wasting time is, can you waste time with the ball being in play? As I think that's Mbic getting a yellow card there, probably for dissent. Either in what he said or he thumped the ball down.
He thumped the ball against the ground, yeah. Mbic probably just needs to stay on the halfway line, because it means he won't get there before it's passed back to the visiting keeper, Conal Truman. His clearance falls well for Iandolo to get in front of Hepburn Murphy, but only puts the ball out of play. Carlisle score in stoppage time at Reading, but they're 2-1 down. Doncaster scored the decisive goal at Crewe, but MK Dons may well have got the decisive goal here, because we've only got 1 minute of stoppage time on BBC Essex, and still, although they've only led since the 87th minute, MK Dons lead by 3 goals to 2. But Colchester United just can't create an attack. They just can't threaten. They've gone long. It's headed away straight to Samson Davide. He chests it down the right hand side. He moves forward, holding off his man. He'd like a corner, he'd like a throw-in. He does better than that. He finds Lisby, apex of the penalty area. Colchester United 3-2 down in this FA Cup. Couldn't get it into the box where Aura Edwards and Micah Mbic were waiting. We're almost into stoppage time, and it's a throw-in for MK Dons. And any moment, David Gregory, the referee will blow her whistle, and the U's will be out of the FA Cup despite leading twice.
Yeah, and I don't think in this 5 minutes that MK Dons have wasted time too much without the ball being in play. So the referee's not going to add too much onto that 5.
The U's can go long once more through Matt Macy. Iandolo leaps, defender gets something on it. Just now have been able, since they've fallen behind, to fashion one opportunity. Arujo sends it long and Bick competes for it, but tidying it up in the centre of midfield and then cleared, and that looked like a handball from Arujo, but chasing away his substitute Callum Patterson onto Hepburn Murphy, who's on a hat-trick, tests the U's goalkeeper, who says, and the referee looks at their stopwatch and says we'll play on. Iandolo through the middle, Lisby might get there, tries to get under control, plays it towards the goal, but it's thumped away, and that's the nearest the U's have come to scoring. Boos cascade around the ground. Big effort from the Colchester United players, who end up on the ground in consolation and exhaustion because, David Gregory, they're out of the cup.
Yeah, and I mean, from the very beginning of the game, we thought it'd be a tight one. We thought it wouldn't be much in it. And Colchester United went ahead twice. MK Dons got back into it. I always felt that Colchester goals were better in quality, but MK Dons showed a different side to them that we thought. They battled hard to get back in the game. And then, of course, they kept a bit of pressure on in that last 10 minutes, and that led to them getting a couple of balls into the box. The second one was, a ball across the box is always going to be dangerous if the opposition don't clear it properly and cleanly. And it gets to the edge, comes to Tomlinson, who's coming off that left wing back position, and he makes sure he hits the target, and neither Matt Macy nor the defenders can keep it out. And I think Kyrese Lisby got to the ball right at the end there, but unfortunately couldn't put it goalwards. So once again we're going to have to look at the FA Cup as a write-off for the 10th out of 11 season. So disappointing, but it was a good game for the neutrals here with 5 goals.
Disappointing. 5 goals, twice the U's led. They'll think this is one that got away.
Absolutely they will, but we'll look at it in the cold light of day. You're playing against a very, very good side who, barring one defeat in their last 5, have done well lately. They're in the top 4 of the division we're planning, so that is where we want to be. They're the levels we want to get to. We've got to them over the past few weeks. We've been able to replicate that at times this afternoon. A couple of fantastic goals, but we weren't able to get over the line, and we revert back to league football next weekend.
Thanks very much, David Gregory. I think we all know that MK Dons are going to be a very good side in League 2 this season, but in the FA Cup they've knocked Colchester United out, despite the U's leading twice. Wonderful goal from Mbick, wonderful finish from Harry Anderson, but 2 goals from Hepburn Murphy provided equalisers, and then the winner 3 minutes before the end from Tomlinson ensured that it's MK Dons who move into the second round of the FA Cup at the expense of Colchester United. They're still playing just in a game between Wealdstone and Southend United, where the Blues are down to 10 men and are trailing 1-0. For the final seconds of that game, here is Glenn Pennyfather and Ben Fryer winding things up, because I think the Blues are out.
Of it being 10v11, Southend gave a really, really good effort, but ultimately those set pieces just weren't effective enough. They couldn't create the clear-cut opportunity they needed, and they come away, despite all the effort, empty-handed. Final thoughts, Glenn Pennyfather. Will Southend be glad to see the back of this ground?
Well, it's just usually disappointing. The result, forget anything else, forget it's Wealdstone. It's just usually disappointing to go out in the first round of the FA Cup again. I think the game, obviously, the pattern of the game was determined by the sending off on 17 minutes. It was so avoidable as well. We've spoken about it a few times this year, Paul Clark and myself, about the importance of playing forward, important with being progressive in your pass. Now, that's great if you're keeping good possession, but they wasn't it. But the thing was, responsibility was being passed up, and in the end, they was the masters of their own downfall, because there's a loose touch in the end as Ben Goodliffe has received the ball at the edge of his own box. He miscontrols it. It's pounced upon by the sharp, quick Wealdstone forward. And as you rightly said, Ben, the referee had no other decision to make. It was a 100% a red card. It was a sending off. And that after 16 minutes make life. And it's difficult to come here at the best of times. But then to have to deal with that with 10 men, they suddenly go a goal behind and the pattern was set. Credit to Blues though, you have to give them some credit because they put in a real shift without really troubling the goalkeeper Baptiste. They had a couple of shots that went straight down his throat, spilled one but didn't go too far away from him. He collected that on the second opportunity. But the thing would be disappointing me if you analyse it and you're reflecting on the game, as I'm sure Kevin and the staff will, the quality of those set, you've got to make them count. There's so much talk about set plays at the top level at the moment, so you've got to be talking about them at the National League level, Ben. If that quality of that ball in, and unfortunately I suppose it's a double whammy, the fact that your best header of the ball and the one that attacks it with real determination and real ruthlessness is off the pitch, that's the unfortunate thing. But you've still got to have quality to allow the likes of Gus Scott Morris, your Nathan Ralphs, your Harry Taylors to attack the ball, and that just didn't happen. That was disappointing. Yes, there was a lot of effort, there was a lot of endeavour, there was a lot of intent in that second half without really troubling the Wealdstone goal. I thought they kept them at arm's length, being perfectly honest, and if they'd been more clinical, Wealdstone could have got that second goal. They've missed a couple of chances where they've made a poor decision, but the poorest decision of the day unfortunately has come from the pass to Ben Goodliffe and then the first touch, which has cost Blues the opportunity, and it is disappointing. But in football you have to dust yourself down, Ben, because there's an important league game coming up Wednesday, and that's what they've got to focus on now. Yes, it's disappointing tonight, but it's gone. It's going to be fish and chip paper tomorrow, and they've got to think about Woking come Wednesday.